Hey, what's happening everyone? I'm SirJames coming at you guys with another video, and today I'm here to give you guys my review on the Korbanth MPP 2.5 custom lightsaber, more specifically Darth Vader's lightsaber. I kind of wish the new 5-panel art piece that I ordered came in on time, but oh well, I'm still waiting for those anyways. So before we actually get into the review, I just want to kind of make a quick announcement, is that today is a little bit more of a special day for me because today marks the 1-year anniversary since my first lightsaber review that I posted on this channel 1 year ago today. If you guys don't know which one I'm referring to, it is my review from Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Savi's Workshop, where I reviewed the protection and defense custom saber with all the different crystals. In fact, that video has well hit over 1 million views, which completely shocks me. And if it wasn't for your guys' continued support here on this channel, things like this wouldn't be possible today, and getting the opportunity to check out a lot of the different custom lightsabers, different companies, different soundboards. So once again, thank you guys so much, and hopefully we could reach my next dream goal of reaching 100,000 subscribers. It's pretty much just around the corner, and hopefully that dream becomes a reality. Hopefully maybe this year, if not, maybe next year for sure. So here we have the lightsaber itself, but before we talk about the hilt, we have to quickly address the company Corbanth. How are they? Are they good? Good customer service? And the answer is yes, all the way around. This is actually not the first time that I've done business with Corbanth, because I've bought a few empty hilts from them in the past, and the shipping has been pretty quick, and I've also pre-ordered a few items. In fact, from Corbanth, I'm actually waiting for the Fallen Order version 2.0 hilt to come out, which hopefully will be this month, if not next month for sure. And this is actually considered my first lightsaber that I bought from them. That's an install, and I do look forward to adding more to my collection in the near future, once of course everything's not completely out of stock right now, which has gotten crazy for a lot of different companies actually. Now the hilt is actually not by Corbanth. The hilt is actually done by 89 Sabers, which they done a really good job replicating Darth Vader's lightsaber with this cool thing embedded on here, which I'll give you guys a closer look in a second, where it's got the micro precision product on here with the micro flash, because obviously with the original lightsabers, they were made with the whole flash mounts and whatnot. I can't remember the proper name. It was in my head. I had the information in my head, and then it completely went away because of everything else I want to talk about. But you guys know what I'm referencing here. But very good quality hilts. So let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look, and then we'll talk about more of the accessories here. So unlike last time during my unboxing video, where I was mostly playing towards this bottom half section and the top, I now have a set of grips on here, which these are the grips for Empire Strikes Back. And we have our clamp there. Now this section here with the micro flash, you actually can remove if you wanted to, but I purposely kept mine on there. I just felt, it's not in my way. It's not going to bother me at all. So I just kind of kept it there. Now these sections here where it would be wires, these are actually plastic pieces that come included in the box, which I do plan on upgrading this probably the next couple of days. I just need to get some wire to do that. That's an easy fix. Of course, you got your clip here, so you can go ahead and attach it to your belts. There's even some nice detail here along this rim, right in the inside. So very nicely done by 89 Sabers. Nicely done. And since we're here, let me go ahead and give you guys a closer look in terms of the install, because the install is actually done by Corbanth, so there's no confusion there. So that right there, that little board is the Proffie 2.2, and that thing does wonders. We also have our kill switch right here, and then on the other side we actually have a removable battery. The only thing that I have to complain about, and this is just a minor complaint, is that I wish that for the wires here, I wish these were tucked over to one side or the other to make removing the battery a little bit easier, because sometimes the wire gets in the way, which they do state carefully, kind of move them over so you can go ahead and pop the battery. But again, by default, I wish these were put over to the side to begin with, so that way you don't have to worry about that issue. But that's really about it. Now, one of the cool things about this lightsaber, that when you do get it, by the way, is that you are actually given options depending on what you want to do. For example, out of the box, as showcased in my unboxing videos, that you get 3 sets of grips. The one that I'm currently using is for Empire Strikes Back. You also have a New Hope and Rogue One, which is pretty neat. Now, if you're doing the A New Hope configuration, you also get some other accessories too, such as additional parts for the clamp card, so you can go ahead and use those for its original look. Now, you may have noticed that one of the wires looks like it was missing. That's because it's this little red one here. It doesn't really sit well, but again, the wires are going to be getting replaced. And I like having this one missing here for a reason, because when you have a blade in here, you actually have your lights basically pop through here, which I really like. So it's all about, personal preference. So that's why I kind of keep it off. Because one, doesn't really fit correctly. It just kind of pops off anyways. And just having those lights exposed adds a little bit more of an effect to the saber. But again, it does come with plenty of accessories out of the box to go ahead and make whatever configuration you want to do. You even have a nice little simple basic blade plug. Very neat, so I'm happy with the results of that one. In terms of its initial weight and this configuration, if you are curious, put this on the scale here. Currently weighs in at 1 pound, 11 ounces, so it's got a little bit of a weight to it, not too bad. And the other thing I also wanted to point out, that if you do get something like this, or maybe the Graphic Supreme, anything where you have to correspond grips onto the hilt itself, is that there's actually a pretty simple solution for that, and it's something like this. This is a grip guide. Now, there's a couple ways to go about this, maybe more than 2, but the 2 that I know of is that on Goth 3D, I believe is the company name, you could actually order something like this from their website. Or if you own a 3D printer like myself, you could actually go onto Thingiverse and find these guide grips to go ahead and help you out. Basically line them up, and so that way when you put the grips on, everything is going to be spaced out perfectly, so nothing seems to be out of alignment. Unless if you're really good at eyeballing it without any measurements, then you can go with that option too if you want. After all, these are just a pill and stick grip, so if you do mess up, just take it off, put it back on again. Pretty simple process. Go ahead and turn this off here. Okay, so where do I begin? Proffie 2.2. I mean, I don't know if my review is going to do it justice, to be honest, because there's a lot of great things to talk about. I will say this, getting into the Proffie board, it was very confusing at first. It's still a bit confusing. I don't fully understand it, but in terms of getting the basics done to where I'm adding fonts, adding blade styles, stuff like that, that for the most part I understand. But again, getting into it for a first timer is extremely confusing. To take my example for me is that when I took a look at CFX was like my main first board that I got to use. Within 30 minutes to an hour, I had CFX down in no time. The Proffie board, on the other hand, well, it took me about, for the most part, almost a solid day just to get the hang of it. And plus, not only that, I do have a little bit of a learning disability. I can't, if I ask help from the community and people say, read the manual, doesn't really do me anything because that's not the best way for me to learn. But when someone walks me through or visually seeing something and also having hands-on, that's a lot easier for me to learn. I'm more of a visual learner than read a book. So just want to kind of point that out. But what I did learn is that for the Proffie board is that one of the key important files that you need to have is your configuration file. The configuration file is extremely important because that will basically link up with the fonts that you have on your SD card and will also give you those cool different blade styles that you can use. Speaking of blade styles, there's actually a guy by the name Fernando, which I'll have a link to his site down below, where you can get all kinds of different cool and unique blade styles to use with your Proffie saber. So if you're looking for something cool, unique, and basically just a nice collection to have, whatever fonts that you have on there, again, it's a really nice way to go about getting all sorts of different blade styles. The fonts and blade styles, I mean, not the fonts, but the blade styles are free of charge, but there is a donations tab. So if you're satisfied with what he's offering, that I do encourage you to at least make some form of donation to him because he does a wonderful job regardless. And also too, another key important that I also learned is also knowing your blade LED count for your NeoPixel setup. And there's actually another cool tool that I'll link down below where you can actually add it to your saber, and all you do is basically insert a neopixel blade, and it will actually count for you how many neopixels are in your blade. So for example, this one, typically in order to figure that out, you would have to take it apart and count the LEDs, but because of this little software that I used, adding it into the font, I know that this blade is 130 LEDs built into it. But we're going to go ahead and insert this into here now. Make sure we tighten these screws up a little bit. So hopefully there's no issues here, and then we're going to turn off a couple. We're going to turn off the main light and the small light. Now do keep in mind that at the moment I do not have this jam-packed with like a ton of fonts and effects, but I do have a good handful of stuff on here because I'm just trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Originally I was going to have like all dark side fonts on here, and then for the Graphic Supreme was going to be all light side fonts, but I decided to just kind of mix it up for the most part and also try out different effects, which I don't have all basically a ton of effects on here, but I have a few of the cool ones, that's for sure. And I also wanted to also mention, since we're talking about the Proffie board, is that you guys have been asking me about a Darth Sidious and Count Dooku lightsaber. Yes, I'm going to be getting those two sabers, so hopefully you guys look forward to it. The hilts are made by 89 Sabers, and they will be installed with the Proffie 2.2, which I would have to say maybe is my new favorite. But let me go ahead and demonstrate this for you guys. Alright, so let's go ahead and let's see. So the first one that I have on here is of course the classic Darth Vader. Now this one is using the blade style called audio hum. So basically, or the, not audio hum, the audio flicker. So the blade has a flickering effect to kind of go with the hum. It's basically the pure classic Darth Vader style. Well, style to it. Pretty simple. The other thing I like too is that unlike the CFX where you have to like get to the whole force perspective in order to activate quotes or whatever, is that for here the force basically is by a default button here. So instead of force effects, I enable audio quotes instead.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
So you do things like that whenever you want to.
Don't make me destroy you.
And of course it also supports music, so you hold it in for just a second or two, let go. Hopefully I'm not copyrighted with that one. Let's go ahead and kind of cycle through.
Reset the chamber for Skywalker.
So we have this one here for Empire Strikes Back, which I need to remap this one to number 1, which thanks for reminding me, everyone. Again, this has also got the audio flicker to go with the hum.
Impressive. Now, release your anger. All too easy. You have learned much, young one.
Now, I did have a background music added to this, which I think I need to fix. I don't know if I misspelled something in the configuration file, but it's supposed to be the ambient sounds of the carbon freezing chamber with the whole dual sequence as the background portion. So hopefully I can figure out what I did wrong and get that back into working order. Which is also another important thing to note, is that when you're adding and stuff to your configuration files, you need to make sure that if you're configuring a file specifically for a font, you have to make sure that it's labeled correctly and spelled correctly. Otherwise, there are going to be some little issues here and there, which can be either big issues or just really small ones, like forgetting to put a comma. So I've had that happen once or twice.
Welcome, young Skywalker. Father, you are right.
So the end scene of the movie when, you know, Luke takes off his father's mask.
Father, you are right.
It's supposed to be another one. Sometimes it'll repeat.
Let me look on you with my own eyes.
There you go. And of course, this also has, you know, smooth swing support. If you remember that I mentioned, as you can see, it shines through there. I like that. So again, the speaker is nice and loud. You got your smooth swing functionality. You you know, Flash on Clash, Blaster, and of course.
You couldn't bring yourself to kill me before, and I don't believe you'll destroy me now.
You underestimate the power of the dark side.
So audio with the clashes, some other cool things depending on what font you have on there. And then the other cool thing too, what's neat is that for the Flash on Clash function, is that depending on what settings you have on there, you could have responsive clash, where you'll see the clash move up and down the blade depending on the orientation, which is pretty neat. Another thing that I also like is also for lightning.
You couldn't bring yourself to kill me before, and I don't believe you'll destroy me now.
You underestimate
all these clashes
the
here.
power of the...
Let's go ahead and activate another one because I have a perfect excuse to use the Force Lightning with.
Hello, Master. It's been a while.
Now this one is technically my default folder that I have set up where there's no blade styles, it's just a standard light there. Obviously not the right color, but again, this is my default folder that I like to go back to use as reference when I'm adding additional fonts.
Master Kenobi always said there's no such thing as luck. Master Kenobi always said there's no such thing as luck.
I was hoping for it to say the same thing.
Master Kenobi always said there's no such thing as luck.
Do I only have the one on there? I could have sworn there's more.
You're lucky Anakin didn't show up.
There you go. Maybe I wasn't holding it long enough, that's why.
At last we will have our revenge.
Record Darth Maul. You notice that one, it was more of a white and then it went to that subtle red. We'll do that one again. Very nice effect. Probably noticed that one a little bit better compared to the green one.
Traitor!
Of course, Kylo Ren. Nice, classic, unstable blade. Now there's actually another blade effect that you can get where it's the unstable one, but as you move the blade, it kind of adds a little bit of effect to it. Same thing for the stable one too.
I'll show you the dark side. I'll show you the dark side. I'll show you the dark side.
Because sometimes the repeats, I don't know if there's a secret to it.
Kill them all.
There we go.
Anything else?
I was hoping he would say the one.
You know what I've come for.
No, I want him to do the map to Skywalker.
I'll show you the dark side.
Oh, I was hoping he'll play the other quote. Maybe I just have too many quotes on there. There's only like 4 or 5 anyways.
It's time to let old things die.
Alright, so this is a Ben Solo font. I believe this one is by K-Sith. But now what's cool too is that some of the fonts or blade styles on there have additional effects too. So for example, let's take Ben Solo for example. He became corrupted of the dark side and eventually became known as Kylo Ren. So this will be his traditional blade as Ben Solo, but unfortunately because of the events, which we go, because of the unfortunate events, he eventually became corrupted and now he was transferred into Kylo Ren. So just like that, with just activating the switch here, I'll be able to go from a unstable red to a blue, and then a red, just like that. So really cool, I like that.
Why are you here, Ray, from nowhere?
And then we have The Last Jedi.
Kylo failed you. I won't. I need someone to show me my place in all this.
Next up.
The old man's gonna knock on the sky. Listen to the sound.
So the next two, starting with this one, is a Tron sound font, which you can find on Saber Font. And this one is using another blade style called Cycle Up, which is perfect for any Tron related sound font. It's very nice. And of course the cycle down. And once again. Just watching it all cycle up and then slowly fade down. Pretty neat. Then the next one.
Tron, what have you become?
Because obviously you got the blue, gotta have a bit of the orange. And this one is actually a really cool one, by the way, to download because not only does it have really good sound to it, but also it's basically the whole Disc War portion from Tron Legacy. Music with the hum and everything, and then it's a pretty nice one. Like that, one of my favorites for sure.
I do not serve the Emperor.
Of course, we have Starkiller. This is just a standard static blade. Again, if you don't want any special effects, you can go for a static look if you want.
What is your will, my master? What is thy bidding? My master. What is thy bidding? My master.
I forgot there was a delay on that one when he said that. And then, of course, since we had Starkiller there, where he says, you know, he doesn't serve the Emperor, figured it'd be perfect to have the Emperor there. Now this one, let's see. This one actually has a blade style where it's a spark tip. So when this thing lights up, I'm not sure how well you're going to see it. You'll notice that light that traveled quickly up the blade. That's the spark tip ignition on there.
Are you threatening me, Master Jedi?
Gotta have the classic Revenge of the Sith. There we go. Don't listen to him, Anakin! It's always fun to use that one. And then next up is another Darth Sidious, so that I actually just downloaded prior to making this video because it had a pretty cool Prion effect that someone shared from the community. I don't think this is a font by Fernando that I'm aware of, but feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on this one.
I am the Senate.
So check this one out. Isn't that cool? It's basically, once again, that's pretty awesome. And a nice sounding sound font too. That one's always a fun one. I'm gonna have fun with that one.
This party's over.
Of course, Mace Windu.
You have lost.
Let's see. I don't know why. It looks a bit blue on camera. Bluish purple. It's slightly purple to me in person. And it's really hard because I haven't been able to get a proper purple NeoPixel colored blade. If you guys know of a proper way of getting that nice purple, please let me know in the comment section below.
I am going to end this once and for all. I am going to end this once and for all.
Now there's actually a font on there. I didn't add it, obviously, but there's a font with Samuel L. Jackson, you know, basically throwing F-bombs everywhere. A fun little font, but it is available out there. I think it's on Saber font.
Only a Sith deals in absolutes. I will do what I must.
Another Revenge of the Sith one.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
Gotta have that.
It's over, Anakin! I have the high ground!
You're supposed to say the next one.
You underestimate my power!
There we go.
You underestimate my power!
I will say that getting the saber was a bit awkward to grip. I found the best way for me to grip it is like this. Holding it up here. And if I needed to use two hands, I could go ahead and reach down here to do so. So I'm not able to do all kinds of fancy trolls because I'm not quite comfortable with it quite yet with this one, especially with these large grips.
I will have my vengeance.
There's another fun one. Ready for this one? Oh yeah. Now this is a font called Pitch Black. It's available on Saber font. Prion is actually something that I got from Jesse from Kyberphonic, by the way. That's perfect. It's got this nice static effect to it. I'm going to go ahead and let it play again, but let it focus on this one. Never get tired of that Prion ignition. Now that Prion, by the way, the best way to pair it is with a Prion fonts, and then on the blade style it's called Power Absorb, so that way you guys know for a future reference.
It is obvious that this contest cannot be decided by our knowledge of the Force.
Of course, Count Dooku. Which I don't think I did a Prion. No, this is just a standard ignition. Of course, I love having Count Dooku fonts on here.
You'll have to do better than that. I'll show you the true power of the dark side. You're about to experience true swordsmanship.
Which I'm looking forward to adding that one onto my Count Dooku hilt whenever I get that one. And of course, can't have Count Dooku without
Much to learn.
Yoda. If you guys recall last time I had like that Yoda scream, so I decided to change it.
Fear is the path to the dark side. Fear is the path to the dark side.
Let's see, change.
Fear is the path to the dark side.
See.
May the Force be with you. The fear of loss is a path to the dark side.
So again, I like having character quotes on there. Just kind of enhances a little bit. Some people don't like that. You could just, instead of character quotes, you could just do force effects, which is what some of them come with by default. But I like having the quotes. Just enhances whichever person saber that I'm using at the time a little bit more.
Moff Gideon.
So here's a this one's a fun dark saber one. This is actually a font by Saber or Kyberphonic, my bad. I was about to say Saberphonic for some reason. Kyberphonic for a dark blade sound effect. However, the blade style is also a dark saber that was available on Fernando's site. So let's try to replicate that effect. Now, I don't know if I'm going to be able to showcase this. If not, I'll have to edit it in there. But there's another cool thing that you can do on the Proffie board where it has this effect called melts. And basically, go into a forward thrust motion when the saber's on, pressing the blade. I think you could also configure your button configuration slightly. But what's cool is that for the melt effect, literally it seems like you're melting through a door or a wall, because I'll have like a white, orangish yellow, then a red. But we'll see if I could try to replicate it here if you guys can see it. If not, I'll edit one in for you. So hopefully you guys were able to see that. Obviously I won't know until post-production, but really cool. I like the melt feature.
General Krell, you're being relieved of duty.
Now here's another fun one. Now General Krell from the whole Umbara episode. Very nice arc. Obviously hated Krell because for what he has done, but it was a really nice moment for the clones, especially that time where, they stepped forward and to deal with a certain situation that was completely, in the wrong. And, as you guys know, General Krell, he has two double-bladed lightsabers in color green and color blue. Well, obviously, with this font on here, there's no possible way for me to do that, right? Unless if I had a double-bladed saber. What if I told you there is a blade effect on Proffie? where you can literally split the blade in two and to have two colors. You might be calling me crazy, but check it out. There we go. Let's see if this will showcase better. See? Green, blue, green, blue. Two colors, one blade. How? But you can. Now, even crazier, when you're editing or using this blade style, is that you could even have it to where half the blade, either one is unstable, the other half is not. There's a lot of customization you can do. Now, the other cool thing too, if we twist the hilt here, it will favor one color more than the other. And of course, we gotta have some quotes in here.
It's treason then. You should have listened to the ARC Trooper from the beginning, Captain.
Let's see if we can get the third one in there, because there's three of them.
You should have listened to the ARC Trooper from the beginning, Captain.
I think this one's also got some effects too. Let's see. And I think there's also something with the stab, if I remember correctly. There you go. Where you can hear him slicing through some of the clones. As much as that font hurts me, hearing the clones get cut up by Krell, but you know, you just gotta have it in there.
Empress Palpatine.
Here's another one. Empress Palpatine. Now this one also has an effect where anytime I swing the blade, you notice that it kind of goes into a white, then goes back to that subtle red. It's pretty quick, but it works. Actually, kind of fades into more of a lighter red, and then goes back to that more stable red here. Camera's probably gonna pick it up as orange though. Let's see. Oh, my bad. There's also an effect on here too, where I could go from that stable look to a unstable, or back to stable. Next up.
I've been trained in your Jedi arts by Count Dooku.
Of course, gotta have General Grievous. And you also have your color cycle. So you can go ahead and change from a variety of different colors. You know, whatever you have a personal preference for. It's pretty simple. You just kind of slowly tilt the hilt. Cycle through whatever color that you want. And once you find a color that you like, you simply press the button. There you go. Now it stays. Apologies about that. My camera was kind of overheating, so I had to let it cool off. You know, it's a bit of a warm night, and when the camera is recording in 4K, it does tend to heat up quite a bit. Though for whatever reason, YouTube Premiere, if you're watching this at that time, doesn't show it in 4K, shows it in 1080p for whatever odd reason. So anyways, I was about to showcase the Lightsaber font that's currently on here. But before we get to this, I actually have some exciting news, and I can't make this up if I wanted to. While I was waiting for the camera to cool down, I was on Corbanth's website, found out that they did some small magical restock just out of nowhere. And in this restock, one of the hilts that they had available, empty hilt mind you, is Yoda's lightsaber. I legit did a 3D printed one of Yoda's lightsaber about a week and a half ago, and now we have an actual legit one here, metal and all. So yes, I did buy Yoda's lightsaber, which will be a great companion piece to go with my Darth Sidious and Count Dooku. So I couldn't ask for anything better. It's a good way for an anniversary to kick off in this video. So anyways, back to this font here. This is a Dragon Ball Z font called like Monkey something 1.5. I'll try to link it down below if I remember during editing or whenever I get the chance to do so. But the pre-on effect by default is like the whole Kamehameha thing, and then using the blade style with power absorb. Now by default the pre-on effect was about 22 seconds long, way too long, because the pre-on style effect, the power absorb, is about 8 seconds by default. I did trim down the original file, but for some reason there's this weird thing where when it gets to the point where it's supposed to activate the second portion, there's this little bit of a delay before the second portion happens. So if you guys know how to fix that, let me know. So let me go ahead and let it play out for you. And it's supposed to go. Then there's that delay, you know, like 3-4 episodes later when they finally issue the attack and they're like, oh, here we go, and then go. So yeah, it's always how it goes in Dragon Ball Z, right? You know, you gotta wait for Goku to get his spirit bomb, and you know, you sit there like 4 or 5 episodes later and they finally issue that one attack. The classic Dragon Ball Z days. We'll just go ahead and let it play one more time. Again, the second part was supposed to play long ago, but again, you know, once you get to that point in the episode, then you go ahead and issue that attack. Let me go ahead and enable these lights again. So there you guys have it. That was the Korbanth MPP 2.5, aka Darth Vader lightsaber. So now that I got the chance to review a Proffie board for the first time, granted it's kind of hard for me to go into in-depth stuff because there's a lot of technical stuff that I would have to showcase, to be honest. But what do I think about the Proffie board in general now that I got the chance to have hands-on, use it, and learn it a bit? When you first get into Proffie, it is confusing. Again, I'm a visual learner, so I had someone actually helping me, which, by the way, you know who you are. Actually, a couple people did, so thank you for those who actually provided a helping hand for me, you know, helping me understand and learn as we went along, especially spending a good portion of Saturday, that's for sure. But again, Proffie, when you first get into it, is definitely confusing. It's not going to be for everyone, that's for sure, but the way I put it down to is if I wanted to bring a lightsaber, you know, on my next trip to Disneyland, Star Wars Galaxy's Edge, or event, or whatever, and I wanted to bring a saber to literally just show off what the thing can do, then I'm bringing a saber with Proffie. If I want to bring something where I got just a few different effects, nothing too crazy, if some standardized variations, and then, you know, just something where I could simply add whatever fonts that I wanted to quickly so I can get out the door, then I would stick with CFX. In fact, CFX is very simple to learn. It took me like 30 minutes to an hour to completely understand that, and I was already on board, versus the Proffie that took me a good more than half a day to figure out. But again, Proffie is an excellent board. There's so many really cool things you can do. Fernando's got a ton of different blade style currently available, and there might be some other people. So if you know of any other users out there who create blade styles for the Proffie 2.2, also please let me know in the comment section down below. I'd like to see what other ones are available out there. But again, it is a very great option, that's for sure. It's just all about if you wanted to go ahead and go through the learning process. But in the end, I'm very happy with my purchase, because not only do I currently have at the moment 3 sabers with Proffie, but I'm adding 2 more, and who knows what could be possibly be put into that Yoda lightsaber hilt. Won't know until I get my hands on it, of course. But until then, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. And I'm not sure what my next review is going to be quite yet. I'm currently waiting on parts for my Graphic Supreme, so that way I can convert the saber, assuming the parts fit, to the Empire Strikes Back version of the hilt. and then other parts to correspond with whatever film that I want to go with. And then I got the Princess Leia one. I got the Ultimate Work Kit Fisto. I got the Ultimate Works Darth Maul. So yeah, so many sabers to review this month, which hopefully you guys look forward to. But once again, just want to say thank you guys so much for your continued support here on this channel. It really means a lot to me. But like I said, hopefully we can reach that 100K mark, because that's my next big dream goal when that day happens. I mean, I don't really know what's going to happen, but I'm just looking forward to that day. Until then, I'll see you guys on the next lightsaber review, and you guys enjoy the rest of your day.